I have found myself again. I'm no stress at all. I love it here. I feel so happy here.
Meet Alex. He was born and raised in the UK to an Italian father and a Serbian mother, but 3 years ago he decided to leave his apartment in central London and moved to Belgrade, Serbia. Here he teaches history and English at an international school. He shared why he feels so connected to the people in Serbia, how he manages to live happily in Serbia as a person who doesn't eat meat, and why Serbia could be called a country of patience. Enjoy!
Ja obožavam da pričam srpski, mnogo volim jezik, mnogo mi je interesantan jezik, sofke su mnogo smešni, mnogo su smešne sofke, i kao da, mislim ima tako, kako pričaš engleski, drugi si čovjek, kad pričaš srpski, drugi si čovjek je nas. Kad pričam srpski, malo sam malo otvoreniji, razumijem se, kad pričam engleski, malo sam možda drugačiji, ne znam. Ali pogotovo srpski, kad pričaš, drugačiji je malo čovjeka na sebi. I bitno je da čovjek priča srpski, makar i malo da nauči srpski, zato što to jezik ide u srce čovjeka. Razumiješ? Ako pričaš samo na engleski, ok, važi, oni će kažu ovo je stranac, važi, ali ako probaš da pričaš na srpskom, barem probaš, barem si inicijativu da pričaš ide direktno u srcu čovjeka, mislim. Tako da, ali srpski volim mnogo srpski. I hvala Bogu da sam naučio, hvala Bogu da mi majka i familija naučila.
When I was young, I had my aunt's wedding. They had it in St. Mark's Church, And there's a picture of me in a suit, and it takes me back to a lot of good memories, of it, The tradition is to, have bread, wine, and these kind of things when you go inside of it. It symbolizes the body of Christ. Symbolize the blood of Christ. This is what we did. So I had a little bit of wine when I was a wee kid, when I was, how long was that? 7, 8 years old, a little bit of that, I started that young, Yep, magnificent church, beautiful church.
Yeah, it's beautiful, it's really beautiful.
Compared to some of the other churches, it is relatively new, but it is magnificent. And as you can see, it says here in the Cyrillic, Sveti Marko. And this is a theme of Belgrade, the churches. But you got St. Mark's, you got St. Sava, you got Sabona Crkve, you got so many churches. Another thing what I love about this country, you feel that religious energy, that spiritual energy that I think the West misses. I think, in my opinion, it misses. Jesus Christ, of course, our Father, Alpha, Omega. And what he's doing, you see what he's doing with his fingers. You see what he's doing with his fingers there. This is the Holy Trinity. 1, 2, 3, united together. And this is the symbol of the Orthodox Church, of course, and of Christianity. But what separates the Orthodox Church icons from other art is this Trinity over here. And most, if not all, icons have this Trinity.
What is for you Serbian tradition?
First of all, Slava. So Slava is like a saintly, celebration. I'm born on Sveti Nikola, so that is 19th of December, and I don't have to work on that day. So I can celebrate the Slava and I can celebrate the birthday on the same day. And usually in this kind of tradition, we gather around with family, in a house, in our whatever family house, my house, your house, whatever. And we have a massive table, and the food just doesn't stop coming for some reason. It just keeps going and going and going. I believe we call it a voz. I think it's called a train or something. Just a food, a train.
Train of food.
Train of food. I don't eat meat, to be honest, so I eat everything but meat.
How can you live in such country as Serbia?
There we go. I'm alive. Serbia has everything for people who don't eat meat, or vegetarians or pescatarians. I even made up a word, which is a dangerous word in Serbian. I'll tell you, maybe you understand why it's dangerous. So I'm a ribojedač. It's a word I made, and it basically means fish eater, But all you have to do is change one letter, and it means something totally different,
Because I understand.
You understand now? Yeah, you got it. It came to me like this, I don't know. We don't have the word pescatarian. Okay, I'm a ribojedač. Shopping in Serbia, like food and that, you have a wide variety. I mean, you have top quality food. The markets here, that's another tradition that we can talk about. The piazza. Piazza. Oh, amazing. Amazing fruit, amazing vegetables, cheese, fish, meat for those who eat meat, it's all fresh, made there, great quality, In England, you have this plastic food. I like to call it plastic food, Here, thankfully, we still have food that you can eat, and that you can feel great while eating, Because I don't know if you noticed, but if you compare and contrast, for instance, England, America, and these other countries in the West, People here are so fit. I rarely see people who are overweight or who have issues with food, with their weight, and that. They are such a fit people, very elegant looking, very handsome people. The women and the men, beautiful women, handsome men, fit. And I think that comes down to our food and what we eat. And we're also a very sporty culture, another tradition of Serbia. We can say we're very sporty.
As a man who don't eat meat in Serbia, your top 3 Serbian food.
You gotta go with gibanica. I love gibanica. Cheese pie, I love it. I love gibanica, especially with ajvar. Amazing. I like sarma. Now sarma you don't have to make.
But it's with meat.
I know, but you can make it without meat, and I recommend it. It's a very healthy option actually, with lentils and rice and mushrooms. It's actually very delicious. So sarma, it has the exact same taste, because I didn't always not eat meat. I used to eat as a child. I eat meat. I remember the taste of sarma. And now I'm eating sarma with lentils, rice, and mushrooms. I mean, the exact same thing, more or less. Moscow schnit. It's a dessert, a very beautiful, delicious dessert. The original Moscow schnit, the only original ones that the original can only be bought can only be found in Hotel Moscow. So here we are, Hotel Moscow, and you can't do better than a Moscow schnit. It's a layered cake. We got malina, we got raspberries inside. You name it. And this is the original, the real McCoy, as the English would say. Beautiful piece of dessert right there. Beautiful piece right there. If you need a friend, come to Serbia. Anywhere you go here, anywhere I went to, for instance, you just talk to the person. You talk to them, you get to know them a bit, and you feel like you're already a friend of them. You don't feel there's a distance. And that's what I felt a bit of England. There's a distance with the English people. And not that I have anything against the English people. I lived there so long. I lived most of my life there. And I think this comes down to perhaps homogeneity. We're all one people, let's say one race. We are very traditional. Most of us, at least in Serbia, are all Orthodox. So we all have this same cultural backgrounds. Even with Russians now, we're Orthodox and that. So this is quite nice to share. So technically, I feel here that we're very much more. When I'm here, the people here are very much connected. You can actually communicate so freely here, and I feel when I'm here, I can communicate so freely with everyone.
Yeah.
This is, I think, also a difference between cultures of England and Serbia, and perhaps the Balkans as a whole.
This incredibly beautiful building is our parliament. A magnificent building. It has Corinthian columns over there. It's been subject to a lot of history, especially during the 90s. You can Google it on YouTube. This place was filled with people against the regime of Milosevic and that, and it was just destroyed, filled with fire and that, it's really quite something to see and visit. I mean, this whole area right now where I'm standing, filled with people angry at the regime, at the rights, at this and that. Stunning. And the red carpet, not Hollywood though.
The respect to the rules. This is the issue, because sometimes the rules aren't working.
No.
When you are in a Serbian queue, some people may jump ahead.
Well, I don't know. I mean, in my experience, with the rules, if you break a rule, people get quite angry. In my experience, that tells me a lot about the Serbian mentality. They're very strong people. If you break something, they'll tell you, okay, my friend, get back now. And they do it forcefully. They're not ones to mess around with, Serbs, compared to the English. And the English are almost like sheep, They don't care, Oh my God, they're scared. This guy pushed in front of me. What do I do now? In Serbia, and I got this habit now. I have this new habit of now. If someone does something which I don't like, I say, I'm sorry. I was here first. Get back. Oh. And I said, yeah.
Watch out for these taxi cabs, ye foreigners. Watch out for these taxis.
Why?
Because they can sense a tourist, they can sense a foreigner from a mile away, And because of that sixth sense that they have, these taxis, they tend to charge double. So be careful of these taxis over there on Terazija and Knez Mihajlova.
You are teaching here in international school.
Yes, I teach in an international school, a private international school in Dedinje.
Do you notice differences between Serbian kids, Russian kids, Chinese kids in terms of how do they study, how they discipline?
The Russians are very interesting. Last year I had an all Russian class. The Russians, they are very creative people. Because they had their education, they were 9, 10, 11 years old, when I saw them, They were very creative. They loved music. They loved dancing, They loved their sports, Whatever they did, they were great at. Serbians, you know what? They can be a bit rowdy at times, but I'm happy with them. You know what? Serbians have a lot of personality. You can see this in the adults as well. They have a lot of personality. That's what I appreciate. That's why I like to teach a lot Serbian children. Their personality is very, very warm, very high. They're always sociable. You know, they always like to ask. They're curious. This is what I notice about Serbians. Russians are a bit more reserved, but that might be because, you know, it's a foreign country. You know, they're away from their home. Maybe they're a bit saddened and that. You know, but once they stay for a couple of months, you know, especially what I saw, you know, they feel at home in Serbia. You know, I speak to the parents of the Russians, you know, the parents of the Russian children, and I ask them, okay, so what are you doing in Belgrade? How do you find Belgrade? And they absolutely love Belgrade. They don't want to leave, you know. I have people, Russian parents, who 4 years they're here. A lot of them are in Belgrade on water, you know, Belgrade waterfront.
Waterfront.
They've occupied that space, you know. That's the Russian area, you know. Yeah.
Really?
A lot of them are there, you know. A lot of my students. The Chinese are energetic, very energetic, unbelievably energetic, you know. I mean, they have energy times 1,000, you know. They're adorable. Don't get me wrong, you know. I have a beautiful student in my class, and she's a very smart girl, and a very, very smart girl, you know. But my lord, it's like 3 kids in one, you know. So energetic, you know. That's right, you know. So Chinese, you know, and you know, you think the Chinese, not to be stereotypical, you think they're all like rigid, you know. They sit down and
very
they focus.
disciplined.
Sorry, very disciplined, but yeah. No, not in my case.
Really, this most magnificent building, in my opinion, perhaps the most beautiful building in Belgrade. And it has nothing, it's not called Hotel Serbia, it's not called Hotel Belgrade. It is called Hotel Moskva. It looks the same pretty much as it did over 100 years ago. It has survived the wars, the damage from the wars. It's been, of course, renewed and updated. So look at that, I love it. Beautiful, gorgeous. MIO 1860, magnificent fountain over here. The entrance to Hotel Moscow, 4-star hotel. Yeah, I mean, one grudge I have about Serbia, and Belgrade rather, is the buildings. Well, we have a lot of buildings that are in disrepair, that need an update, big time. Like my flat. It's over 100 years old, very little has been done on it. And they're making Belgrade on water rather than looking after the flats in old Belgrade, because this city is so beautiful. Those buildings over there, stunning buildings, the ones in the color, like here in Italy. Hotel Balkan, there's also a film called Hotel Balkan. A couple of films were made there. Beautiful buildings, and then you have stuff like this, which I have no comment really. I don't have any comment about these buildings. So yes, it's a bit of a mixed bag in terms of the building wise. And then you have this modern type. Now, if you see over there, there's a massive building that looks like a USB. I call it the USB. That is the Belgrade on Waterfront Tower. Yeah, that's the new tower. It's built. It's being built. I don't think anything is in there yet. You know, none of the people are working there yet.
I called it tower marker.
Marker. You're looking at marker. Yeah, that's right. I heard nose trimmer. I heard, you know, the marker now. I call it the USB.
That's another great thing, Alex, about Belgrade. It's very compact. I mean, I walk everywhere. I love to walk. I love to exercise. I love to use my body whenever I can, you know. So I go to work by trolley bus, and then I walk home. It takes me about 45 minutes to walk home. I can walk to Ada from where I live. I'm in the center. It takes me about 45 minutes to walk to Ada, you know, and back. I don't have to. I just like to walk it there, you know. And I always walk. If I can walk it, I walk it. Because Belgrade is so connected, so nice. It's such a nice kind of city, old Belgrade. Then you have the bridges to new Belgrade. I'm more of an old Belgrade guy. You can walk wherever, and it's easier to get there. The transport is also excellent. The transport is also good, you know.
Do you know how it works?
How it works? Apparently now it should work.
Does it work really?
You know, I think it has a mind of its own, you know. I think when it feels like it works, and when it doesn't feel like it doesn't work, you know. So you gotta give it a couple of times, a little press. You know what, you gotta exercise patience. This is a country of patience, all right? You gotta exercise sometimes patience. With the transport, with the smokers, okay? You gotta exercise patience with the smokers. A lot of smokers here. I'm not a smoker. But these two things you have to be patient about, you know. You just have to accept it. Every country, my friend, every country is different in its own way, okay? It has its negatives and its positives. You can't like it all, you know.
What do you miss most from your living in
All
UK?
right, HMV. Now that's a multimedia store, and I collect films. I collect Blu-ray films, perhaps you've heard of it. You know, it's a HD films, 180p films. Mm-hmm. And this is what Serbia doesn't have. They don't sell. Unfortunately, Serbia is quite this. They like to pirate films and that, you know, and online and these things. I'm not a fan of doing that. I like to buy films. I like to, you know, pay for subscription services for to watch films and that. And HMV, it's called His Master's Voice. It's a very old store in England, a very nice, incredible store. It has everything from video games to LPs to CDs to movies and merchandise and that. And that's what I miss the most. I brought about 250 films to Belgrade, to my flat, because I collect films, So that's what I miss the most. So when I go to England, I'm going to take a bag, my luggage. I'm going to just fill the whole bag with films. And that's it. That's all I miss.
Do you like Serbian cinema?
Oh, Serbian cinema is magnificent. So we got 3 films you have to watch. And you can watch this on YouTube, I suppose. Who's Singing Over There? Ko to tamo peva? The Marathon Family. And The Elusive Summer of '68. Valjevo leto 68. These are classics. And it's very important, of course, if you know the language, it's important because you understand it straight away. You understand it's funny. But the actual humor, the dark humor that Serbia is known for having, these 3 films really embody this kind of dark humor. And my favorite film from Serbia, a bit of a sad one, a bit of a tragic one, it's Pretty Village, Pretty Flame. Lepo selo, lepo gore, something like that. And it's about the war in the 90s, but amazing film. A war film par excellence. But Serbian cinema is, it's a bonbon, it's a beautiful, I love it.
When I was in London, I got the impression that it's the place of power. It was, the feeling that you can do much more here. How can you move out from such a place with big opportunities to Serbia, which is commonly perceived as a small country and nobody knows where?
Well, that's why I'm here, Alex. I want to tell the people that there is opportunity. There are opportunities in Serbia, and I'm an example of this. Your other guests are examples of this. Look, if you put the initiative, if you put the work in, you can do many things in this country. Many, many things. You just need to work at it. I found a job in less than 2 hours. I have now a side hustle, let's say, like a side business of private tuition. So if you want to do something, you have all the opportunities available for you in this country, just smaller and compact. Maybe that's even easier, because if you're in a big metropolis like London, there's always massive amount of competition, and you can't do it. Whereas in Serbia, you have the ability, the opportunity to start some business, get connected, advertise yourself. It's endless what you can do. So with the will and with the perseverance, there are opportunities in Serbia. So many opportunities for you to do.
Well, what would you say to those young people who are now living in Serbia for life in Germany, Netherlands, England, to build their careers, thinking that there is a land of opportunity, Europe, Western world?
I'd say to them, don't forget your roots, don't forget your family, don't forget, because that's what truly matters. Money is important, but don't forget what makes you happy. What made me happy was Serbia, is Serbia. And that's why in England, I knew I was going to come back. I knew it, Alex. I was going to come back at some point. At the back of my head, something wasn't right. So I wanted eventually, after I did a fair amount of experience in England, I had a few years of teaching experience in England. Then I said, you know what? It's over. I want to come back to Belgrade. I want to come back to Serbia, to my family. So to these people who go and thinking they're going to make big money, that's not a guarantee. If you go to Germany, if you go to Amsterdam, there's a crisis everywhere. There are economic crises everywhere. It's not a guarantee whether you're going to make money or not. Don't forget what you love. Don't forget your childhood, because your childhood is Serbia. And because if you forget those things, you will lose yourself. That's my personal belief. And now that's why I think why I'm back here, I have found myself again. I'm no stress at all. I love it here. I feel so happy here.
Do you intend to come back to Britain sometime?
I don't see myself going back to England in a while. I got nothing against the country. Nothing against the country. Don't get me wrong. I don't want any English people looking, on your channel and saying this guy's anti-English or what. I got nothing against the country. I got great memories in Camden Town and Kentish Town and the King's Cross, Oxford Street and so on. But I love Serbia, and that's it. I can't do without Serbia.